Have you ever felt like you've mastered so much in your life and your body is the one lock you haven't been given the keys to? You're eating the vegetables, cut the dairy because of what it does to your stomach. You're trying to hit the 90 grams of protein they keep telling you about. Who is they anyway? You have sourdough bread once in a while because, well, we're all human, and who doesn't have sourdough bread? Workouts are part of your week, whether that's Pilates or kettlebell swings or something in your basement. You're doing it all. So why isn't it working the way it's supposed to? And for a long time, the answer everywhere you turn was try harder or try something different. But that's not it. So why is your 10 out of 10 effort giving you 2 out of 10 results? That's what we're talking about today. Welcome to the Decode Your Body podcast. I'm your host, Tasha Miller. Your body shouldn't be the wild card in your life. If you're done guessing, Googling, and outsourcing every decision about your body, you're in the right place. Here, we look at symptoms through body type and pattern recognition so you can start making sense of what your body is actually telling you. This is body literacy, not symptom fixing or another protocol. Let's get into it. Okay, so there's a drawer or a shelf. You know exactly where it is. Some of what's in there you take every day with supplements. You rotate. Some you bought a while back and you're still finishing it just in case it's actually doing something, but you won't know until you do finish it. And you've tried things, you've researched, and man, there are 5-star reviews, testimonials from people you trust, and you gave the supplements, the food, the workouts, whatever is on the menu this month, the series go. So something shifted a little bit, but then it stopped. So you adjusted, but the pattern came back. So you tried what everyone else said was the problem, but something else showed up in its place. So guess what? You try the next thing. And the loop just keeps going because the one piece of information that comes before any of the advice has been missing the whole time. Now, almost every piece of health advice that exists was written for a general body, not your body, a general one. And when you follow advice that was built for a different body than yours, you get exactly that experience. It can work sometimes, or something almost works, and then it will work for a while, then it stops. But what helped 6 months ago, well, it just doesn't work anymore. And that's not a discipline problem. That's a mismatch. And the mismatch has a source. The whole health industry was built on the idea that the same advice should work for everybody. Eat this, cut that, try this next, and if it doesn't work, try harder. And that model treats your body like just that general template, and it's been handing you answers that were never written for yours. Like, think about a prescription. A doctor writes it for a real patient with real symptoms, and then he takes it to the pharmacist, fills it out, and hands it to the patient. But if you took that prescription, you could follow it as exactly as directed every single day, and it would still be the wrong prescription for your body. Not because the doctor got it wrong or because you're doing it wrong. It's because it was written for someone else's body and their problems. Someone whose situation looks similar on the outside, but whose body runs differently than yours. And that's what's been happening. So many of the supplements, food changes, protocols, and routines that you've tried, it was someone else's solution for their body. And you've been taking their prescription and trying to make it work for yours. Your body has a type, something that explains how it operates when it's at its best, how it responds when things get off track, and what it needs to get back into balance. Now, there are 3 body types: the visionary, the driver, and the anchor. And your blueprint is not just one type. It's all 3 in your specific order. And there's going to be one that's going to run the show for you, one that's in second place or neck and neck, and there's going to be one that's third in line. And that order makes up your body type blueprint. It's different from anyone else, even someone whose symptoms look almost identical, because the order of those 3 types in your body is yours specifically. And that order is why the same advice works differently in different bodies. And it's why you've been trying, real things from credible people, but still ending up in a cycle and a loop. But there's also a second layer. Your body can move away from its blueprint. And when it does, that's when symptoms start showing up in a pattern of imbalance. And that pattern is your body communicating with you, telling you where it's moved and what it needs to get back. And your body type blueprint plus the pattern you're currently in is what tells you what your body needs today. Your body has been a messenger your whole life through your energy, sleep, digestion, your skin, menstrual cycles. It's sending you signals, even through how often you get sick and when. And it goes further than the physical attributes. I saw a reel a while back, and it was this introverted, shy guy who goes through the coffee drive-through. The girl at the window passes him his coffee and says, "Enjoy your coffee." And he replies back to her saying, "You too." And for weeks, it echoes in his head, "You too, you too." And it goes over and over in his mind like, what a stupid thing to say, he thinks to himself. And that is a looping mental pattern that is actually part of an imbalance. And I don't mean like a mental imbalance. Or what about when you say yes to something and 5 minutes later, you're already looking for a way out? And honestly, this usually happens when we make decisions in the high energy part of our menstrual cycle for events that land right in the middle of the "I want to go into solitude for a week, please everyone leave the house" phase, you know? And most of us were never taught how to read these signals. We were taught to listen to our parents, doctors, teachers, health professionals. Find something for your unpredictable digestion. Fix your skin. Keep on going, even though you have no energy left. So we start treating the signal like it's the problem instead of asking what it's trying to tell us. But a signal that doesn't get dealt with doesn't just disappear. It just gets louder, and eventually it becomes something you can't ignore anymore. And your body, honestly, it's always going to find a way to get your attention. The question is whether you catch the signal early when it's still information, or later when it's become something you have to stop and deal with. Symptoms are not random events that are happening to you. They're signals that your body is sending you, and those signals mean different things in different body types. The same symptom in a different body type with a different pattern underneath of it can point to something completely different, which is why the same advice gets two different results in two different people. Like, when was the last time you really sat down and really paid attention to your bloating, your weight gain, your constipation, your IBS, eczema, acid reflux, or the wrinkles on your face, and asked what it was trying to tell you instead of immediately trying to make it stop? When you know your body type blueprint and your current pattern, you understand what your body's saying. And when you can read that, outsourcing isn't where you go first. At 11 p.m., when something shows up, you're not in a search cycle on your phone. You know what to look at. You look at what your body is doing and understand what it's asking for. And that, honestly, it's so next level. This isn't all just costing you the hundreds of dollars you've spent on supplements or special foods, or the copious amounts of time you have wasted on routines and looking things up. There's money in that drawer. There's time in that loop. And there's mental energy in that daily check-in that runs underneath everything else you do before the day has even really started, just to figure out what today is going to give you. And that is the real cost, not a small inconvenience, years of time and money and pieces of yourself going into that loop that was never built for you. And it just adds up. So when you know your type, that changes, not because your body becomes all of a sudden this perfect unicorn. It's because you understand what's actually happening. And understanding is a completely different starting point than guessing. I love that God designed our bodies with intention. And part of honoring that is learning how yours works. It's crazy to think that if you cut out most of your liver, that it will grow back. That is how amazing our body is. It has all this wisdom. So it's important not just to follow what someone else figured out for their body and hope it works for yours. And you keep hearing me talk about your body type. And I know it sounds like a broken record, but it matters, because when you have this recognition, you stop asking, what's wrong with me? And you start asking, what is my body doing right now? And what does that mean for my type and my current pattern that I'm in? Now, not all of your symptoms are going to disappear overnight, but when they do show up, you know which pattern you've moved into. You have a good idea of why it's happening, and the cycle of so much trial and error stops. Remember that supplement drawer we talked about earlier? It looks different now. It only has a few key items because you know which one actually fits your body. And the next time a new trend comes along that sounds promising, you know whether it's built for your type before you spend the money finding out. And probably, you know what, you're going to just keep scrolling by. You've been noticing things your whole life, so the signals were always there. And now you have the context to read your body. But guess what? Something else happens. you want more, not because you're still confused. It's because now you're awake. It's like you're seeing something and you didn't know that it was available to you. You want to go deeper into understanding your own body with real information, with real answers, not someone else's prescription, your type, your pattern, your body making sense. And that hunger, it's incredible. And it's such a shift. And you are the woman who leads her own body, not someday, now. Now, I have a training coming out. It's called Understand Your Body Type Blueprint. And it's not where the work ends, it's where it begins. It's not a protocol or a plan. It's not a full system because that comes later. This is the recognition, the piece that should have come before any of the advice. Your body type blueprint, your current pattern, and why so much of what you've tried has played out the way it has. Early access is opening soon, so get your name on the list. The link is in the show notes. Thank you for being here. I will see you back here next week. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, tap follow and leave a 5-star review down below. I read every single one and it helps more women find this podcast. If you want to keep the conversation going, head to tashamiller.co for resources, offers, and all the ways to connect with me.